Friends, welcome to Labor Day, Huntsville 2025. Woo! All right, so folks, I know that the weather is looking questionable, and we will test it here. We're just going to be out here until it rains. If it does start raining, jump under one of the tents, jump under the Straight to Ale patio, and jump under the Yellowhammer patio. I guess to get things started off, does anybody need interpretation for deafness? Not yet. All right. Well, we'll give it a little bit. Again, if anybody needs interpretation, we're just seeing if our interpreter needs to be helping out today. So we're just checking with the audience. All right. So we have quite a few events for everybody. I hope that you came here to learn something, because that's what we're doing today. There are 7 sessions that will be used to teach you all about specific topics. They are covering tenants unions, workers unions, cooperatives, Democratic Socialist 101, and we have a public forum that if you guys want to give your feedback or your concerns to local organizers, so that maybe we can try and help address community needs a little bit better. We have that open as well. I really encourage everybody to go to the information table and grab yourself a schedule. On that schedule, it'll tell you where the locations are for those sessions, and it has lyrics for a beautiful movement song that we'll be singing at the end of today's event. I guess I'll give everybody a couple of minutes. We'll get the music rolling again, and then we'll be rolling into a couple of speakers, just the very basics, and then at 3:30 we'll be breaking off into those sessions so that y'all can learn a thing or two about how to start your own union. I see a lot of signs out there. I want to give everybody a woo for bringing your signs. I really appreciate it. Today is a very chill protest. We appreciate the signs, but again, today is mostly here so that we can teach you guys about ways to regain class power. Please go to the information table, grab a schedule, and we'll be starting here with a couple of speakers in just a couple of minutes. Thank y'all. Go ahead and get started here today. We're going to get started with just a quick little speech. We're just going to get started with a quick little speech on covering a little bit of labor history, a little bit of class consciousness, and then we'll get rolling right into our sessions. All right, so my name is Jeffrey. I am a local organizer here with Alabama 5051. Which is a protest organization. Also am working with North Alabama Democratic Socialists of America, which is an organization all across America that is working for working class power. So both of those organizations are here today in the back. If you want to learn more information about them, please stop by their booths. There are a couple other booths here for a couple unions, Indivisible, and the Tennessee League of Women Voters. So please stop by those booths. All of those organizations are doing great work to try and build working class power. So I'm going to start today with a question. All right, please raise your hand if you are working class. All right, put your hands down. All right, please raise your hand if you have or do work for a paycheck. All right, keep those hands raised. Please raise your hand if you have received benefits from the government. So like Medicaid, Social Security, SNAP, all of those. All right, I'm gonna keep my hand raised too. All right, look around, keep your hands up, look around. All right, almost everybody here is holding their hands up. I know this is a lot more hands than there were when I asked, are you the working class? All right, so I just want you to take a second, take a very quick moment, internalize that. If your hand was raised, you might not identify as the working class, but you are the working class. And that's something that you need to really flip the switch in your brain here. And I hope that today, through all of our teaching sessions and the talks that you can have with one another and our organizers, that switch does flip today. All right, 99% of Americans are the working class. 99% of Americans. All right, if you make $10,000 a year, or you make $100,000 a year, if you make $500,000 a year, you are the working class. The difference between $10,000 a year and $500,000 a year is a singular zero, one order of magnitude. All right, the difference between the working class and the elites, the difference between the working class and the billionaires, let's count it off. All right, $10,000, $100,000. Here's your first zero. $1 million, $10 million, $100 million, $1 billion, $10 billion, $100 billion. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg made over $100 billion in the previous years. All right, that is 6 zeros of difference between them and everyone else in America. 6 zeros. All right, I want you to look to your right. All right, I want you to look at the Trump supporters. I want you to look at MAGA. I want you to look at conservatives, Republicans, whatever label you want to put on them. All right, I want you to look to your left. I want you to look at the socialists. I want you to look at the communists. I want you to look at the anarchists. I want you to look at the Democrats, whatever you want to call them, liberals, all right? Progressives, thank you. All right, I guess we'll look center here too, Democrats, liberals. Those people are all working class, all right? 99% of them are working class, all right? Now look up, all right? 6 zeros, 6 orders of magnitude separating you and the elite. Everyone else to your right and to your left, at most, is a singular zero of difference. All right? So, when I say class consciousness, when I say, are you the working class? I want you to look to your neighbors, and I want you to ask them that question as well. All right? I know it's very hard. I myself am probably not the person to do it, but Republicans, Trump supporters, they are also the working class here. Right? They can also benefit from unions. They can also benefit from the work that we are doing. I'm not saying be friends with them, but I'm saying recognize that they are not the enemy. All right? We should be looking up. We should be looking at the billionaires. We should be looking at the people who have, like Walmart. Walmart is the largest employer in the United States. A vast majority of Walmart's employees are on SNAP. They're on food stamps. When you get hired into Walmart, one of the training sessions that you receive is how to sign up for government benefits. Why? Why? It's because they do not pay their workers a living wage. The largest employer in the United States depends on government welfare for its employees to continue to work at their business. So, I hope that that has given a little clarity. I hope that it has started to nudge that switch in your head, so that when someone says, hey, are you working class? Your arm is the first to shoot up. So, I know that these are scary times, and we're going to go over a little bit of what's going on right now, and hopefully that we can go into the past and see how our comrades, our ancestors have handled situations like this before, and how that can give us some hope and give us a little bit of a path forward. And we're just going to be doing some broad brushstrokes here. And in our sessions, we'll be covering much more details. So, just recently, the Fifth Circuit Court of Texas has ruled that the National Labor Relations Board is unconstitutional. Ooh. Ooh. There we go. That's not the end of the road. It needs to go to the Supreme Court, but we kind of know where that's probably gonna head. So that the National Labor Relations Board is the in-between. It's what says that unions are legal. It allows, it gives them the framework to work through building organizing, and it is a compromise. The National Labor Relations Board is a compromise between workers and corporate. Before the National Labor Relations Board was there to kind of set the framework for unions to win material change for themselves, things were very ugly. All right, so we're going to cover a couple of incidents very briefly. The first one is in 1921. I hope you have probably heard about this, but maybe not. It is the Battle of Blair Mountain. All right. So this was a very hostile time in North Carolina, where union workers had been bargaining and working against the company, and the company had called in the Pinkertons and killed several of them. So things escalated. Again, this is 1921, so it is right after World War I. There are many veterans working in the mine, and they took up arms. The Battle of Blair Mountain was one of the largest insurrections, revolutions, whatever you want to call it. It was an actual battle. People were killed. There were airplanes coming in. There was artillery. The military came in. It was wild.
It was the largest battle in the United States after the Civil War and since.
Okay, here we go. We got some more clarity. It is the largest battle in the United States since the Civil War and since. That was 100 years ago. All right. Workers stood up. They took up arms, and they fought and died for their rights. All right. The next incident is kind of what the founding of Labor Day is all about. So I forget the year, but it rail workers striked. There were over 10,000 of them, and as a result of that, Labor Day was declared a national holiday. So it kind of shut down the entire infrastructure of the United States at the time, and gave workers bargaining power to demand a holiday for themselves. Woo! All right. So both of those are examples, very radical examples of what you can do without the National Labor Relations Board. I'm not suggesting that we go and grab rifles or anything like that. There is a large spectrum of work that we can be doing inside and outside the what will become of the National Labor Relations Board, but that is our history. That is working class history. That is the history that we are not taught in schools. So, what? Yes. So, it's about time to start breaking out into sessions. I want to maybe flip that switch a little bit further. If you think you are the working class, can you say it with me? I am the working class. 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 Switch it up. We are the working class. We are the working class. We are the working class. Perfect. All right. So we're going to build on that chant as we go throughout the day. Maybe I can get a little bit better at belting it out. But we're going to start breaking off into sessions here. I hope everybody got a schedule. I'm going to go through our first session. Out here on the green, we have Jacob Jones is going to be covering Labor 101. We're going to turn the sound down just a little bit so that it's not drowning out the other stages. So if you want to learn about how to form a labor union, stay right here on the green. If you are renting an apartment, a house, really anything, and you want to learn how to form a tenants union, go over to Yellowhammer. That patio right there, Austin Jones will be teaching people how to start a tenants union. And if you're really gung-ho and you're wanting to learn more about the Democratic Socialists of America and their work and the stuff that they put on, like events like these, we're going to have you go over to the front patio of Straight to Ale. We're going to have Henry teaching people about DSA 101. All right? So if you want to learn about unions, labor unions, but you also want to learn about tenants unions, or you want to also learn about DSA, there are 2 sessions. So we're going to be coming back here at 5:30, and we're going to be covering labor unions again. So please take a schedule from the info booth over there and read through it. Pick a session that you want to learn more about, and then we're going to get rolling here in probably about 15 minutes with those sessions starting. All right. If you have any questions, please go to the info booth or come up to talk to anybody in one of these volunteer shirts. They have information. So thank you all for being here. I really hope that today flips a switch in your brain and helps you organize for material change in your own life. All right. Thank you.
Alabama Area Labor Council delegate, member, and chief steward of AFG, or chief steward of that. A chief steward in AFG. And then
All right, folks. So we're going to go ahead and get started here for Labor 101. So if you want to learn how to start a union, please come closer to the stage so that we can turn the volume down a little bit. And I'm going to be turning it over to Jacob Jones. Jacob is a chief steward of AFGE, local 1858. He's also the co-chair of North Alabama Democratic Socialists of America. So again, if you are wanting to learn how to start a union, please come closer to the main stage here, and we will get started here in about 3 minutes. Thank you very much.
I may get off easy on this first set.
Are at all interested in the Labor Unions 101, come a little bit closer, preferably within a few feet of the tent or under the tent. We got space over here.
Tell them we have chairs too if they want to borrow them.
We also have chairs.
Yes, these are free. And also, if we don't have too many people, we might just shove everybody under the tent so you guys can get some shade.
Shade.
Okay, that'd be fine. Yeah.
Y'all hear me okay? Hello, can you hear me? Not too quiet.
Yes.
Now, can you hear me? Hello, hello.
In your face. Right in your face.
Okay, it's in my face. It's force feeding me this microphone. Now it's gonna fall over. I think I'm just gonna hold it. That's easier. All right. So if y'all don't have one of these yet, the starting a labor union step-by-step guide. They're up here on the table. I do recommend getting one of these. All of this, except for a couple of things that I added personally, are directly from the Emergency Workplace Organizing Committee. They are a joint venture between DSA and I'm blanking on the union right now, but between DSA and another union that specifically focuses on organizing new work or doing new workplace organizing efforts. And their website is workerorganizing.org. Very, very good resource. Everything on this sheet came from there. So, first question, what is a union? Who knows?
You do.
I do. Does somebody think they know? All right. It's on the sheet. Very simply, where two or more workers gather in the name of solidarity to advance their collective interests as workers, you have a union. The union is an organization of workers rooted in mutual aid, collective power, and democracy. Sure.
Just like hiding back here. I would, man. You gotta have a presence.
You're the one that moved my table. You can bring me a beer.
I can bring you a beer.
Deserve one.
You deserve a beer. Does he deserve a beer?
Yes, he deserves a beer. Thanks.
There you go, bud.
All right. Okay. So, with that information in hand, all the rest of this I'm not going to read. I will leave it to you guys to read in your own time. But I will focus in on this very last statement on the second page. It is important to remember that unions predate U.S. law that formalized them, and they can and will exist if those laws were to go away. The NLRA is helpful, but it should never be used as your primary tool to win. The only guarantee of victory is mass, collective, dedicated action. All right, moving on. So here's the main content. So we're going to go over the inevitable conflict that arises between the working class and the job-giving class, the capitalist class, whatever you want to call them. And I'm just going to read this and then I'll expand on it as needed. But the foundational truth of the American economic system is not collaboration. And on that, this thing's crackling on me, I think, now. Anyway, it's not collaboration. That's what they wanted to go for. But Unfortunately, class collaborationism does not work. We have seen that. That was the entire reason for the National Labor Relations Act, the Wagner Act, all that stuff. It slowly got rolled back with Taft-Hartley. We'll be going through all that as we move through. The main thing to understand is that we are in a fundamental, unreconcilable conflict with the people that own the means of production. You know, Elon Musk. But inherent conflict. It is a struggle between two diametrically opposed classes: the working class, which produces all societal wealth through its labor, and the employing class, which, as the owners of the means of production, extracts and accumulates that wealth. This central tension, rooted in exploitation and fundamental inequality, makes the existence of a combative, class-conscious labor movement not merely beneficial, but a revolutionary necessity. Hell yeah. The drive for profit dominates the lives of the bosses, leading to low wages, long hours, and the speed up as their weapons under the wage system. The working class, whose very life depends on the sale of its labor, confronts them on this industrial field of battle, contending for the wealth it has created. The inescapable nature of this conflict necessitates an organized collective response. A union is the organizational embodiment of working class power, a collective organ of self-defense designed to confront the inherent power imbalance between a lone worker and a monolithic employer. The very structure of capitalism atomizes the working class, forcing individuals to compete against each other for scarce jobs and inadequate wages. The union, through the principle of solidarity, reorganizes workers into a unified front to leverage their collective power and demand a greater share of the value they produce. This report that I'm doing, will trace the historical trajectory of class conflict in the United States, use contemporary data to expose the systemic inequalities that unions are uniquely positioned to fight, and ultimately argue that the labor movement is the most potent force for societal transformation towards a better future. All right. So I think I expanded enough on that one already on the build-up, so I'm just going to move on. The core function. It is collective power versus individual atomization. And you can see that permeate through our society. The individualism is much too high, hyper-individualistic, if you might say. So at its most basic level, a union is a mechanism for consolidating the power of the many to challenge the power of the few. Under capitalism, a single worker negotiating with an employer is in a position of extreme weakness. The consequences of demanding better working conditions can be catastrophic, as they face the threat of unemployment while the employer can easily replace them. The union directly confronts this power imbalance by enabling workers to bargain collectively with their employer. This process, known as collective bargaining, results in a legally binding contract, a collective bargaining agreement, that determines the terms of employment, including pay, benefits, hours, and job safety policies. The process is a foundational step toward democratizing the workplace, asserting a degree of worker control over conditions that would otherwise be dictated unilaterally by management. Through this process, unions aim to prevent the price of labor from falling below its value, thereby directly challenging the capitalist profit motive. That's why they hate us. Moving on, we're going to talk about class struggle versus business unionism, and the overall theoretical split of that. Historically, most unions in the United States have been business union oriented, and we'll be going through a little bit of that. For a socialist analysis, which is what I'm doing here, the nature of a union is not a simple matter of definition, but of ideological orientation. The American labor movement has historically been bifurcated by two competing models, business unionism and class struggle unionism. This distinction is the most crucial lens through which to understand the movement's successes and failures. Business unionism, a model that has dominated much of the mainstream labor movement, sees the relationship between labor and capital as primarily cooperative. Its goal is to secure a fair day's wage for a fair day's work and to foster labor peace. This approach views unions as institutional partners of employers, and its fate is tied to the profitability of the firm. Historical examples of this can be seen in the American Federation of Labor's, AFL, partnership with the National Civic Federation, the NCF, an organization led by industrialist Mark Hanna and AFL leader Samuel Gompers, which preached harmony among classes. We see how that's worked out. In stark contrast, class struggle unionism is based on the unshakable premise that the working class and the employing class have nothing in common, as stated in the preamble of the Industrial Workers of the World. This philosophy, rooted in Marxist thought, holds that workers create all wealth through their labor, but that bosses steal that wealth for their own benefit. Consequently, any gain for the working class must be understood as a loss for the employing class. This orientation leads to a combative, militant form of unionism that places sharp demands on employers, promotes rank-and-file worker activism, and organizes with a political agenda that is entirely free from the influence of the employer class. No class collaboration. Like they want that anyway. Especially here recently. They kind of just hate unions. They want to get rid of them completely. So the difference between these two models is not merely a matter of tactics, it is a fundamental ideological split. Business unionism is reformist, seeking to win better terms for a narrow group of workers within the capitalist system. Class struggle unionism, however, is revolutionary. It views every struggle as part of a larger fight for the entire working class, and its ultimate goal is to bring the workers of this country into the possession of the full value of their product of their toil. This approach requires a union to be anti-racist, anti-sexist, and pro-immigrant at its core, as these are issues that benefit the entire working class. They are also issues that the capitalists use to divide us, very purposefully. The existence of business unionism reveals a key vulnerability of the labor movement. The capitalist class, recognizing the threat posed by a unified working class, has historically sought to co-opt and institutionalize the labor movement. By encouraging a bureaucratic leadership that is divorced from the rank and file, and by channeling worker militancy into legalistic, less threatening forms, the system has successfully diluted the revolutionary potential of many unions. This explains why modern Marxists often view contemporary unions as useful to our goals, but ultimately not radical enough. The system has found a way to turn a potential organ of class war into a partner for managing industrial peace, for whatever that is. So, I don't have too much to add on that. That was pretty all-encompassing of that. It's just kind of laying the groundwork of where we find ourselves right now in this moment, where we previously, since the Wagner Act in 1935, when it was passed 90 years ago, it did initially provide a lot of good power to workers. However, that kind of fell to the wayside over time, and the Taft-Hartley Act came in and weakened it further, and then we've just kept having it chipped away. And I think that is the major, that is very strong evidence to suggest that, hey, the Marxists, they were right all along, turns out. You cannot actually collaborate with the people who are oppressing you. So, a history of conflict, U.S. labor under the shadow of capital. The history of labor in the United States is a chronicle of unrelenting conflict between workers and the capitalist class, with the state consistently intervening on the side of capital. This history is not a series of isolated events, but a continuous struggle that has shaped the nation. So, Early worker organization emerged in the 19th century as a direct material response to the brutal conditions of early industrialization. The 1824 Pawtucket textile strike, led by 101 women weavers, is credited as the first industrial strike in American history and was a response to a 25% wage cut. The formation of the Mechanics Union of Trades Association in Philadelphia in 1827 and the Working Men's Party of New York in 1829 shows the early recognition that economic and political struggle were intertwined. And this is before Marx wrote anything, by the way. In 1829, they were already picking it up. They were picking up what he hadn't put down yet. These nascent movements were often met with immediate and violent pushback from employers. And the state, as seen in the 1827 strike by Philadelphia tailors, who were taken to court for conspiracy to harm commerce. This struggle reached a pivotal turning point with the Haymarket Affair in 1886. Amid a backdrop of rapid industrialization and deep social upheaval, labor activists and socialists organized a nationwide demonstration for the 8-hour workday. A peaceful rally in Chicago's Haymarket Square turned violent when an unidentified individual threw a bomb at the police, who then fired into the crowd, killing demonstrators. In the aftermath, the state, without physical evidence linking the men to the bombing, convicted 8 anarchists and socialist leaders of conspiracy. 7 were sentenced to death and 4 were hanged. The Haymarket trial was a profound miscarriage of justice, widely condemned at the time by figures such as William Dean Howells and Clarence Darrow. Illinois Governor John Peter Altgeld later pardoned the remaining defendants, calling them victims of hysteria, packed juries, and a biased judge, and noting that the state has never discovered who it was that threw the bomb. The event was a watershed moment that solidified the public's fear and suspicion of radical movements, simultaneously exposing the deep-seated alliance between the state and capital and demonstrating the state's willingness to use its legal and carceral power to crush a burgeoning socialist labor movement, or any labor movement at all for that matter. And important to note, the Haymarket Affair actually is the reason for May Day, which is International Workers' Day. But we do not celebrate it here. The core event that inspired May Day, we don't get Labor Day on that day. We get Labor Day on this day, and that was very purposeful to separate any working class solidarity with the rest of the world. Americans had to be different. We're not the same. Our workers, they're different. They're better than other workers around the world. Except no, that's not true. You actually have far more in common with any working person across the entire globe than you have with any billionaire. Anybody that owns anything, really. You have more in common with anybody from China, South Africa, Gaza, all of them you have more in common with than any of the leadership of this country, frankly, because they're all pretty rich. Next up, the Pullman strike and federal intervention as a weapon. The Pullman strike of 1894 provided another brutal lesson in the nature of class conflict in America. Following a 30 to 50% wage cut without a corresponding decrease in already high rents in the company town of Pullman, Illinois, workers went on strike. The American Railway Union, ARU, the largest labor union of its time, led by Eugene B. Debs, launched a sympathy strike, refusing to work on any trains with Pullman cars. This action brought rail traffic to a halt from Ohio to California. The government's response was swift and definitive. President Grover Cleveland, siding with the railroads, deployed federal troops to break the strike, claiming a need to protect mail delivery. The administration also obtained a federal injunction against the strikers, citing the Sherman Antitrust Act of 1890. When Debs refused to comply with the injunction, he was jailed for contempt, a sentence that was upheld by the Supreme Court in RE sorry Debs. I don't think that's a complete thing. U.S. probably against V-Debs. The strike was crushed, the ARU was destroyed, and Debs, disillusioned by the government's role, converted to socialism during his 6 months of incarceration. What do you know? This event established a chilling precedent. The government had used both military force and the courts to break a strike and protect the interests of private capital. And you'll remember, everybody's favorite president, Joe Brandon, mere years ago, broke a railway strike himself. What a guy. Definitely a friend to the working class. Not. All right. The application of the Sherman Antitrust Act against a labor union, a legal impediment that would last until the passage of the Clayton Act in 1914, demonstrated that the state's primary role was to facilitate the free flow of commerce, not to protect the rights of workers. The Wagner Act. Containment, not liberation. The New Deal era saw a shift in the state's strategy from outright violent suppression to legal containment. The National Labor Relations Act of 1935, the Wagner Act, guaranteed private sector employees the right to organize, bargain collectively, and strike. It also created the National Labor Relations Board to enforce these rights and penalize unfair employer practices. This legislation was not a benevolent gift to labor. Its preamble explicitly states that its purpose is to eliminate the causes of certain substantial obstructions to the free flow of commerce by managing industrial strife and unrest. The Wagner Act was a strategic concession designed to stabilize a failing capitalist system that was being threatened by decades of violent class conflict and the radical potential of the labor movement. It acknowledged the validity of collective bargaining while simultaneously creating a legal and institutional framework that could regulate, manage, and ultimately limit the most militant aspects of class struggle. This framework effectively encouraged a business unionism approach, where disputes were handled through formal channels rather than through direct confrontational action. The decline in private sector union density from 20.1% in 1983 to 5.9% in 2024 is a testament to the system's success in co-opting and diluting the labor movement. The union advantage, a quantitative and qualitative analysis. Despite decades of legal and political setbacks, unions remain the most effective vehicle for improving the material conditions and securing the dignity of the working class. The benefits are not abstract. They are evident in concrete, measurable data and in the fundamental transformation of the workplace itself. The union wage premium is not merely a bonus. It is the visible evidence of labor reclaiming a greater share of the surplus value it has created. The data overwhelmingly confirms this. In 2024, union members had a median weekly earning of $1,337, while non-union workers earned $1,138, a premium of approximately 17.5%. An analysis from the Economic Policy Institute shows that a worker covered by a union contract earns 12.8% more on average than a non-union peer with similar education, occupation, and experience. This effect is not limited to union members. High union density in a state or industry forces non-union employers to raise wages to compete for workers, creating a spillover effect that benefits all working people. This is not a reason to not unionize yourself. The following table that I have and will read for you provides a clear illustration of the economic disparity between union and non-union workers in 2024. Median weekly earnings. I already said this one, but the difference is 17.5%, $199 overall per week. Access to employer-provided health insurance. Union workers above 90%. Non-union workers 71%. That's a 19% difference. Access to defined benefit pension. 77% of union workers have a pension. Non-union workers less than 20%. That puts you completely at the whim of the market through 401ks. Not cool. That's a difference of 57%. That's huge. Making your retirement much more likely with a union. Median weekly earnings in the public sector, that's a difference of $206 or 17.4%. And median weekly earnings in the private sector, that is 11.2% or $127. So a little bit less in the private sector, but nothing to shake a stick at. If you told me that I was going to make 127 extra dollars per week and all I had to do was pay $50 a month, I would say that's a great deal. Narrowing the gap. The capitalist system, with its inherent power imbalances, perpetuates and exacerbates systemic wage gaps based on race and gender. Unions, by their very structure, act as a counterforce to this tendency. The data reveals that unions disproportionately benefit women and workers of color. Black workers, for example, have the highest unionization rates amongst all major racial and ethnic groups at 11.8% of union members, compared to 9.6% for white workers, 8.5% for Asian workers, and 8.5% for Hispanic workers. The union wage premium is even more pronounced for these groups. Black workers represented by a union are paid 12.6% more than their non-union peers, and Hispanic workers receive a 16.4% premium. The wages of unionized women are 9.8% higher than their non-union counterparts. The gender wage gap is also smaller in unionized workplaces, with women in unions earning 87 cents to a man's dollar compared to 82 cents in non-union workplaces. So still not perfect, but better. These figures demonstrate that unions are not just fighting for economic justice in the abstract, but are actively working to dismantle the deep-seated inequalities baked into the capitalist system. All right, just cause and due process. Beyond the tangible economic benefits, unions fundamentally alter the qualitative experience of work by introducing the revolutionary concepts of just cause and due process. For the vast majority of private sector workers in the United States, employment is at will, meaning an employer can terminate an employee for good cause, bad cause, or no cause at all. This doctrine is a tool of total control, making a worker's existence precarious and encouraging compliance out of fear. Unions directly challenge this legal framework. A union contract replaces the at-will doctrine with a just cause provision, which requires an employer to have a valid, justifiable reason for termination or discipline. This fundamentally shifts the power dynamic from one of absolute employer authority to one of shared governance. To enforce this right, unions establish a formal grievance procedure, a structured process that moves a dispute up the chain of command from an informal meeting with a union steward to, if necessary, final and binding arbitration by a neutral third party. This procedure is a day in court for the worker, a right most non-union employees do not have. This process is more than a simple set of rules. It is a macro-level revolutionary act. The at-will doctrine is the legal and ideological bedrock of capitalist control over labor. It ensures that the worker's property interest in their job is not a right, but a revocable privilege. Making sure I say that word right. By introducing just cause, unions are not just negotiating a contract provision, they are directly challenging the legal and philosophical foundation of the capitalist employment relationship. This is a fundamental assertion of worker dignity and a more democratic and secure form of labor that is ultimately incompatible with the at-will doctrine. It is no wonder that employers spend over $400 million annually on consultants to thwart workers' unionization efforts. The fight is not just over a few dollars in wages, but over control and power itself. $400 million annually. That's almost $500 million. That's crazy. They won't increase your wages, but they'll pay all those, McKinsey consultants and whoever else to union bust and hold you in captive audience meetings and all that good stuff that's not good and sucks. So workplace safety. The capitalist drive for profit incentivizes employers to cut corners on safety, trading worker well-being for cost savings. Unions act as a vital check on this tendency, not just by negotiating for better conditions, but by actively monitoring and enforcing them. The empirical evidence supports this. A study from the Department of Labor shows that union elections improve occupational safety, with accident case rates trending downwards after an election, regardless of the outcome. Unions are also more likely to report occupational risks and violations to the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, which leads to greater rates of inspection and citation of unionized firms. Unions therefore serve a crucial role as watchdogs for the lives and health of working people, preventing the most egregious abuses that are an inevitable result of a system that prioritizes profit over humanity. All right. The union as a force for societal transformation. The impact of the labor movement extends far beyond the confines of the workplace. A true class struggle union recognizes that the liberation of its members is inextricably linked to the liberation of the entire working class. This leads the movement to champion causes that benefit all of society, establishing itself as a powerful force for social and economic justice. While some early craft unions, particularly within the AFL, had a documented history of excluding black workers, the broader labor movement has been a crucial partner in the struggle for civil rights. Black-led unions like A. Philip Randolph's Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters and industrial unions like the United Auto Workers, UAW, were instrumental in organizing and funding the 1963 March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. The march was not just a civil rights protest, it was an explicitly economic one, with key demands for a federal works program, a higher minimum wage, and equality at work. The very slogan of the event, "For Jobs and Freedom," highlights the deep, inextricable link between the two struggles. The active participation and leadership of labor figures like Randolph and Bayard Rustin in planning the march, and the fact that 17 international unions and numerous labor councils officially endorsed it, demonstrates that the fight for racial justice is an extension of class struggle. This shows that a class-conscious union movement does not operate in a vacuum. It understands that the capitalist system relies on and perpetuates divisions based on race and other factors to weaken the working class as a whole. Advocating for the common good, social unionism, and political power. A central tenet of social movement unionism is that unions should use their organizational strength to advocate for social policies and legislation favorable to all workers, not just their members. Unions influence politics through their collective bargaining power, their extensive lobbying efforts, and their ability to mobilize their membership through grassroots activism. The AFL-CIO, for example, advocates for a livable minimum wage, stronger workplace safety laws, and the protection of Social Security and Medicare. The organization sees its role as rewriting the rules of the economy to benefit the 99% and actively fights for an expansion of voting rights, seeing these as central to the struggle for social and economic justice. The historical push for minimum wage legislation is a perfect case study of this political action. Initially, early labor federations like the AFL opposed government-mandated minimums, believing workers should control their own wages through unions. However, as the labor movement evolved, particularly with the rise of the CIO, it championed the cause of a universal minimum wage, recognizing that it would raise the floor for all workers and prevent non-unionized employers from undercutting wages across the board. This strategic shift reveals a critical understanding. If capitalism is allowed to pay poverty wages to non-union workers, it creates downward pressure on all wages. By raising the floor for all, unions effectively strengthen their own bargaining position. This demonstrates the deep link between economic and political action and positions unions as the true engine of progressive social change. Concluding this bit, the analysis presented here synthesizes the central arguments of a socialist perspective on the labor movement. The union is an essential and revolutionary tool for the working class. It is the only organized force capable of challenging the inherent power imbalances of capitalism, redistributing wealth from capital to labor through the wage premium, democratizing the workplace through due process, and advancing social and economic justice for all. While union density has fallen significantly from its peak in 1983, when Reagan was president and screwed everything up, it is crucial to view this not as a failure of the labor movement's purpose, but as a symptom of a legal and political system designed to contain it. The fact that over 60 million workers wanted to join a union in 2024 but could not is proof of a massive unmet demand for collective power. The system of labor law, employer opposition, and bureaucratic inertia continues to thwart this desire. The path forward, therefore, requires a return to the principles of class struggle unionism. This means a militant, rank-and-file movement that is willing to challenge the legal and political constraints imposed by the capitalist state. It requires a movement that sees every struggle for fair wages, for racial justice, for environmental protection as part of a single, unified battle against the billionaire class. The ultimate goal is not just a better contract, but the complete emancipation of the downtrodden millions, and the creation of a society in which the producers of wealth possess the full value of their toil. The labor movement is, and must always be, the vanguard of this socialist future. And to finish up here in our last 5 minutes, I am going to just go through these top 5 things that you can do to start a union at your workplace. No NLRB required, though, you know, they like to have the elections or whatever. 10 minutes. Okay, cool. I thought I had 5. Yeah, I'm good. All right, so your 5 steps to start a union at work. Talk to your coworkers. Number 1, talk to your coworkers. Form a group. That's your organizing committee. Decide what you want, your demands. Make a plan to win your demands. Join together with your coworkers. If you have a serious complaint about how your boss is behaving, you're rightfully angry, but what's your next move? Whatever strategy you use to tackle the issues in your workplace, there is one thing you should always remember: don't go it alone. Any effort to improve your workplace will only be successful if you and your coworkers are organized. So you don't even necessarily need a complete organized union to do a protected collective action against your employer. As long as you have most people who are willing to walk off the job, sans union being present at all, you know, you're protected by law for now, but also what's your employer going to do? It's just the way she goes. Yeah. So, yeah, identify your set of demands after you join with your coworkers. Prepare for what your boss might say and do. Here is a very crucial part. We call this inoculation, where you are exposed to the arguments of your boss beforehand so that you know how to talk to your coworkers, or they know how to respond when your boss uses these arguments. There are a whole host of them. Captive audience meetings, yada yada yada. All that stuff is going to happen. They'll sit people down for hour-long presentations outside of work hours that they force them to go to on condition of being, fired. And you really have to, connect that this is how much your employer doesn't want you to have a union. This is how much they know a union will take away their power and give power to workers. Finally, present your demands and take action to win them. And that is, walking out, having work stoppages, all the way up to, strikes, pickets, all that good stuff. And in those cases, you probably want to go ahead and have your identity recognized as a union. So, the easiest way to go about this, contact the Emergency Workplace Organizing Committee, and they can be found at workerorganizing.org, super easy to remember. You can also contact the North Alabama Area Labor Council. We're a little bit strapped for organizing labor at the moment, but we'll do everything we can to put you guys, anybody who wants a union, in contact with the right parent union to help you guys unionize your workplace and create a bargaining unit. You can contact the North Alabama Area Labor Council at contact@northalabamalabor.org. Super easy to remember. So that's contact@northalabamalabor.org, and the website for the Emergency Workplace Organizing Committee is workerorganizing.org. Remember those. And I actually think no, not that one. Yeah, if y'all need that, just you can come up here and write it down, or write it down now, whatever. Workerorganizing.org, contact@northalabamalabor.org, and yeah, I hope y'all got something out of this. A little bit of history, a little bit of quality information, and then at the end, honestly, the easiest part is the actual formation of the union. It's all the information that you have to communicate with your coworkers, all of the history, the education, the experience, all of that is what is going to convince them that they need a union. So in my belief, having all of that in your back pocket, knowing those pieces of information, strengthening them in your own mind, is going to be more important than the actual process of forming a union, because you have to talk to people. That's the core piece. Talk to your coworkers. Thank y'all. Secrets of a Successful Organizer. Recommend this for any organizing, not just workplace organizing. This will get you through tenant organizing, DSA work organizing, so when you're doing community organizing efforts, all of it, this is a great guide. And that is through I'm totally blanking on it. Hold on. They actually, I think they print these, so my mind is just totally blanking. I want to, though, if I can. Oh, Labor Notes. Labor Notes. Sorry. They do have their own website. You can just Google Labor Notes. It'll pop up. They have a bunch of trainings that are really great. The next one is the legal rights of union stewards. If you do make it to having a union, you're going to want this. And then Just Cause, a union guide to winning discipline cases. That is how you work arbitration and grievances and all that good stuff. All right. That's it. Thank you.
So we're going to be transitioning a little bit to, I guess, more of a music festival here. So if you are at the tenants unions, or if you can hear me way over at DSA, the DSA patio was absolutely packed. There was standing room only. So I hope some of those crowd can come back over and join us. But right now, we have Mr. Scott Lynch, who is a singer-songwriter, and he is going to, I guess, he's going to give us a couple of good feel-good songs, and I'll let him introduce himself the rest of the way. So give it up for Scott Lynch.
Turn it down a little bit if you don't mind. Thank you so much, 5051. Thank you, Indivisible. Y'all got a good thing going on. Let's persevere. Gonna play a little Woody Guthrie for you. I Thank you so much. You're much too kind. Workers unite.
Do you need to adjust anything?
I'm good.
All right.
We'll stay with Woody Guthrie a little bit. A little traditional song y'all might have heard in the pew every once in a while. Ezekiel saw that wheel whirling way in the middle of the air. Ezekiel saw that wheel whirling way in the middle of the air. 'Cause the little wheel runs on faith, but the big wheel runs by the grace of God. Ezekiel saw that wheel whirling way in the middle of the air. Tell you what your workers you should do way in the middle of the air. You should join your unions 2x2 way in the middle of the air. 'Cause Ezekiel saw that wheel whirling way in the middle of the air. Ezekiel saw that wheel whirling way in the middle of the air. 'Cause the little wheel runs on faith, but the big wheel runs by the grace of God. Ezekiel saw that wheel whirling way in the middle of the air. Tell you what a corporation it will do way in the middle of the air. It'll sell you bad products or blind you too way in the middle of the air. 'Cause Ezekiel saw that wheel whirling way in the middle of the air. Ezekiel saw that wheel whirling way in the middle of the air. 'Cause the little wheel runs on faith, but the big wheel runs by the grace of God. Ezekiel saw that wheel whirling way in the middle of the air. Tell you what a president he will do way in the middle of the air. He'll talk about me and he'll talk about you way in the middle of the air. 'Cause Ezekiel saw that wheel whirling way in the middle of the air. Ezekiel saw that wheel whirling way in the middle of the air. Thank you so much. Workers unite. Don't listen to those old oligarchs. Stupid old billionaires. What do they know? Make sure you look around, say hello to your brother today, and join together in any way you can, and take it on down the line. Riding on the city of New Orleans, in the North Central Monday morning rail. 15 cars, 15 restless riders, 3 conductors, 25 sacks of mail. All along the southbound Odyssey, train goes out of Kankakee. seem to fade into a bad dream, and still ain't heard the news. Lexus sings this sad song, passengers will please refrain, this train gets got disappearing railroad blues. No kings, 'cause good night America, how are ya? Say, don't you know I'm your native son? I'm that train they call City of New Orleans. I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done. Thank you so much. Thank you to Indivisible. Thank you to 5051, which is a national thing, if y'all didn't know. Thank you to the Madison County Democratic Party. Thank you to the Democratic Socialists. Thank you to God above. We're going to see this through. We're going to get rid of this thing that's in there. Never say its name. Anyway, I'm going to do a Dobie Gray song, a little hippie stuff for you. So let's make sure we shine on your brother. Day after day I'm more confused, but I look for the light in the pouring rain. You know it's a game that I hate to lose. Now I'm feeling strain. Ain't it a shame? Oh, give me the beat, boys, free my soul. Wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Workers unite. Well, give me the beat, boys, free my soul. Wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. No kings. Day after day I'm more confused, but I look for the light in the pouring rain. You know it's a game that I hate to lose. Now I'm feeling strain. Ain't it a shame? Oh, give me the beat, boys, free my soul. Wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Well, give me the beat, boys, free my soul. Wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Yeah. When my mind is free, you know the melody can move me. And when I'm feeling blue, guitar coming through to soothe me. Thanks for the joy that you've given me. Don't you know I believe in your song? Rhythm, rhyme, and harmony, bringing us along. 805 making us strong. Oh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. Wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Let's hear it out there. Well, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. Wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Hey, yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Love your mother today. Sha-la-la-la-la. Sha-na-na. Love your sisters today. Na-na-na-na-na. Na-na-na. Love your brothers today. Thank you much. You're much too kind. Okay, still with you. We're missing a few people today. We're missing Dale Strong. Poor old Dale's probably up there eating a hamburger somewhere.
Being scared. Thinking about us.
Make sure that you are registered to vote and you visit the tent here that's talking about getting registered to vote. Get everybody in your family to vote. We got some good music coming up. I know y'all been working hard, paying taxes. We got 50% taxes now. Y'all keeping track of it? Summertime blues. I went and told my mom, said I gotta earn some money. If you wanna go to the grocery store right next Sunday. Well, I didn't go to work. I told the boss I was sick. Now I can't use a car cause I didn't work a leg. Sometimes I wonder how I'm gonna do if there ain't no cure for the summertime blues. Summertime blues. We got no Dale Strong, no Tommy Battle, no Elon Musk, no Donald J. Trump. Gonna take 2 weeks, I'm gonna have on my vacation. Gonna take my problem to the United Nations. Well, I went to my congressman and he said, son, wop, 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 wop. Sometimes I wonder how I'm gonna do, but there ain't no cure for the summertime blues. Summertime blues. Those old summertime blues. Oh, summertime blues. Thank you so much. You're much too kind. I know y'all been working hard. Make sure you join your unions if you have an opportunity. Make sure you reach out to your co-workers and tell them how you feel. Tell them what's been going on in the world, and you can make this thing a better place. So let's get mellow for a moment. After all the jacks are in the boxes and the clowns have all gone to bed, you can hear happiness standing on down the street. Footprints dressed in red, and the wind whispers Mary. A rumor's tyranny is sweeping Thank you so much. You're much too kind. We're going to keep you rocking and rolling all night long with workshops and music. Maybe a little candlelight visual. Remembering the people that have gone. Let's move back to a little Woody Guthrie. Buddy, are you the next musician? Are y'all the next musician? When would you like to play?
Sorry, what'd you say?
You want to play in 5 to 10 minutes? Won't you gather around the children? The story I will tell about pretty boy Floyd and outlaw, Oklahoma doing well. He was in the town of Shawnee on a Saturday afternoon with a whole carload of groceries and the town his family rode. And a deputy sheriff approached him in a manner rather rude. His vocal words and language and why she overheard. So pretty boy grabbed a long chain and deputy grabbed his gun. In the fight that followed, he laid that deputy down. So he took the fields and farms and lived a life of shame. Every crime in Oklahoma was added to his name. Workers unite! Impeach and convict in 26. 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 Through this world of rambles, seems lots of fun and fun. Some will rob with a 6-gun, baby, and some with a 1,000 pin. It's through this world I've rambled, and it's through this world I've roamed. You will never see an outlaw rob family of their home. Keep your own pal. Thank you, you're much too kind. Thank you to Indivisible for the use of the PA. Thank you to 5051. My name is Scott Taylor Lynch. Visit me on the web, Blast Music. And you can do free streaming service through the Huntsville Library. So thank you so much. God bless. I went walking, ribbon of highway. I saw above me an endless skyway. Saw below me a golden valley. This land is made for you and me. This land is made for you and me. This land is your land. Sing it, this land is my land. 26. I was roaming, I saw a sign there that said no trespassing, but the other side said, it said nothing. Let me tell you, this land is you and me. This land's for you and me. In the squares of cities, in the centers of circles, all the people, the police's office, they're the mumbling, they're grumbling. This land is made for you and me. One more time, y'all. This land is made for you and me. This land is your land, land is my land. California, New York Island, river forest, ocean water. This land is made for you and me. This land is made for you and me. This land is made for you and me. Workers unite! Thank you so much. God bless. Thank you so much to Jeffrey, 5051. Thank you, Indivisible. Get out and vote. Woo.
All right. We're going to bring it on down just a little bit here. All right. Can I get a round of applause for Mr. Scott Lynch? All right. Our next artist today is Miss Bulon Throneberry. She's going to be hopping on with her guitar, and she's a singer-songwriter, and she's going to give us a few tunes. So hope everybody's enjoying Labor Day so far. I know it is a little bit of a much more chill vibe than what we normally put on, but today is about learning. Today is about community building. Today is about, again, flipping that switch in your head. You are part of the working class. So just keep thinking on that, and we're going to have a few more songs coming up.
Careful with the volume control.
Do you need anything else from me? You want me to adjust things for you on your first song?
If you could.
Hey, how y'all doing today? Thank you guys so much for having me. My name is Milan Throneberry. I got a couple songs for you. Born down in a dead man's town. The first kick is took is when I hit the ground. End up like a dog that's been bit too much. So you spend half your life just covering up. I was born in the USA. I was born in the USA. Born in the USA. Born in the USA. Got in a little hometown jam, so they put a rifle in my hand, sent me off up to me. I went to see the VA man. He said, son, don't you understand? Thank you guys so much for having me. It's great to see so much community action and people for fighting for things that I really believe in. So this is awesome to be part of. I was not born in the USA, so this has always been one of my favorite songs. Starting from, I think it was like 3rd or 4th grade. I remember we had like a little school play, and it was like a weird like patriotic thing. Like, not that being patriotic sort, but this is weird. Like, y'all know, like, you know what I mean. But this one song, I do remember. I was like, wow, like, that really stuck out to me. And I think it is really, I think it's like a shared experience between a lot of people who weren't born here. It's like we sang this song together, growing up, and then it's like, I don't know, like half y'all voted against me, so I'm like, what's up? I feel like we've lost the message, but This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me. Thank you. Am I allowed to cuss up here? Can I cuss up here? Or is it...
Fuck.
Okay, perfect. Alright, so this next song is an original I put out on a EP about a year ago. And this song, I feel like, to me at least, I was really fired up about, politics and life in general when I wrote it like 2 years ago, but now it becomes more relevant in my life every day. So I wrote this song with my friend Sam Hotmaker. If you like it, you can stream it anywhere. My name is Milan Thornberry, and this song's called American Dream. Go to college, start life, try to find a Christian wife. Everything works out if you do what you do. Breakfast sizzling on the stove, dressed in your best underclothes. You had it figured out since 10 years old. You want white picket fences, 2 cars that look expensive. You want 2 kids just like your parents. I'm sure you found someone to hold you, but that don't mean they'll really know you. You treat love just like a checklist, just like your parents. You get the urge to tempt your fate. You kiss some girls your mom would hate. Maybe you just like the taste of rebellion. Once or twice you fell in love, but you found ways to fuck it up. Too busy buying into the life that they were selling you. You want white picket fences, 2 cars that look expensive. yeah, if you like that song, it is available on streaming everywhere. All right, I got one more song for y'all. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for having me. So I went to school for music business at Middle Tennessee State, and something they told us a lot was like, if you're an artist, right, like don't. Well, not everyone said this, but a lot of my teachers were like, if you're an artist, don't get into politics, don't be controversial. Like it's just not a good recipe for success. And I was like, well, then like, what's the point, right? Like I don't know. No disrespect to anyone who doesn't want to do it, because I get it, but it just wasn't the path I saw for myself. I was probably like 5 or 6 whenever like the Chicks controversy was, formerly the Dixie Chicks controversy was a thing. But I remember I was like, I think this is like what made me like, this is my first like woke moment. I was like a little kid, and I was like, why is everybody so mad? Anyway, so this is one of my favorite songs. I think the message was just as important today as it was then, and as it was about the time it was written about. So yeah, this is a song that yeah. One second. All right. Yeah. So this song is the song that taught little me that you can publicly disparage the president and it'll be okay, because some people will agree with you. So this song is anyways, this Traveling Soldier. 2 days past 18, he was waiting for the bus in his army green, sat down at a cafe there, gave his order to a girl with a bow in her hair. He's a little shy, so she gave him a smile, and he said, would you mind sitting down for a while and talking to me? I'm feeling a little alone. She said, I'm off in an hour and I know where we can go. So they went down and they sat on the pier. He said, I bet you got a boyfriend, but I don't care. I got no one to send a letter to. sang a man said, folks, would you bow your heads for a list of local Vietnam dead? Cried all alone under the stands was a piccolo player and a marching band and one named Red. And nobody really cared but a pretty little girl with a bow in her hair. I cried, never gonna hold the hands of another guy too young for him. They told her, waiting for the love of a traveling soldier. My love will never end, waiting for the soldier to come back again, never more to be alone. When the letter said the soldier's coming, I cried, never gonna hold the hands of another guy too young. And they told her, waiting for the love of a traveling soldier. My love will never end, waiting for the soldier to come back again, never more to be alone. When the letter said a soldier's coming home. Alright, that's the last song I got for you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm like really, I don't know, I get so nervous when I talk in public, but this is something that is important to me, so I'm gonna power through it. Thank you. I really like what you had said earlier, and I think it was a good reminder to me too, right, that like, whether it's, you know, like your Trump-loving uncle, right, who you don't want to see when it's not Thanksgiving, right, like, or it's like people that you're really like, you want to volunteer and you want to like do all the shit with them. We're all part of the same class. We have much more in common than any of these billionaires, right? And I think that song is always a good reminder to me that, you know, no matter, because also when I was like, I listened to this song and I was listening to Born in the USA, and like it kept popping up on these Spotify playlists that were like songs for MAGA 2024. I was like, anyways, but I think they're kind of missing the point, but that's a whole other thing. You know, I think it's important to know that, like, you know, it's never the billionaires that are telling like their 18-year-olds that are in poverty, like, you know, you gotta go save all your family. They're not sending their own fucking kids off to die. And I think that's what's the most important thing for us to remember, is that at the end of the day, we're all on the same side. So thank you for that reminder. Thank you so much for listening to me. My name is Milan Throneberry. You can find me online anywhere. I have Instagram and Facebook and all that, and then I have music on Spotify and Apple, and I also have a podcast where I talk shit about politics, if anyone wants to. It's called The Insufferable Grifter Show. Yeah, well, because I don't know, I was like, I wanted to start posting, but I was like, everything to promote things like that seemed so like grifter-ish to me, and so I was like, I just have to make fun of myself first, because I was like, the whole like, you know, just the TikTok trends, and I was like, I feel like such a fraud, but I was like, not if I admit it first. So it's the Insufferable Grifter Show. My name's Milan Throneberry. Thank you so much.
Woo! Thank you. You're on Facebook. You're on Facebook too?
I am, yes. I guess that's all.
Hold on, one more hand. All right, folks. So that concludes our musicians and more so the kind of protesty bit of our show, of our event. Our show. What am I doing? So I guess we said it a little bit earlier, but I'm going to get back into it. Can you repeat after me? I am the working class.
Woo!
That's really weak. I need some help from the folks in the back. I am the working class. I am the working class. We are the working class. We are the working class. There we are. All right. Thank you, folks. All right. So we're going to move on to our second session of the evening. I know we have some protesters out on the street corner. If we want to bring them back in so that they can participate in our sessions here. Can I get a marshal to go grab the protesters if they want to come on back in? So
it's about 10 after. We're going to start. My name's Austin. I've been a DSA organizer for 5 years now. I'm an officer with the North Alabama DSA chapter, Democratic Socialists of America. I'm a 21-year Army vet. Been deployed 4 times to Iraq and Afghanistan. And yeah, I served my country. After I got out, I felt like I still needed to serve the people. So that's why I'm here. And I'm going to talk to you all about tenants unions today. So, what is a tenants union? Well, it is democracy. Yeah, I'm going to be staring at you a lot. It is democracy. Yeah, it is collective power. And that's what it's all about. Every time, the reason today we're here is because of workers who died for this day. So let's remember that. Let's remember what the worker got for everyone in this country, in this world. Because all the good that we got, the weekends, our 40-hour work week, if you're lucky for that, is because of working class folks banding together, fighting for what's better. So what is a tenants union? I said it's democracy, it's collective power, but it's also a building, a neighborhood, or a city-based organization made up and led by renters to fight for collective interests and rights. Building-based tenant unions are generally made up of tenants who live in the same building. Neighborhood is city-based. Tenant unions are networks of tenants who have similar issues and stand in solidarity with each other. But there's also statewide tenant organizations. And there's also countrywide. And there's also international tenant unions. So, how to form a tenants union? So, let me give you our cheat sheet. Okay. Too easy. So, 3 easy steps. Step 1, form an organizing committee. All right? That starts with you. An organizing team is the seed. It's usually 3 or 4 people, highly motivated. Most of the tenants or residents, they don't have to necessarily be that though. You could have somebody from a different organization or a different neighborhood who maybe has experience to come in and start helping you move towards that. And with your organizing team, you talk about your vision of what you want to do together and how you want to do it. The more unified you can be, the stronger your seed will grow. All right? And there's things you can win, right? So the second step is you reach out to others that would be interested in joining. This is getting your boots on the ground. This is, you set a time to go canvassing, this is door knocking. Maybe you set up a social media page to connect with the other residents. It might be in your apartment, on your block, your neighbor's kitchen, but it's really important to share with others why you are unionizing and listen to their concern. folks, you got to listen more than you talk. Yeah? I know I'm up here talking, I'm talking the whole time, but like a good rule of thumb is 2/3 of the time you're listening and you're asking questions, 1/3 of the time you're talking. When you're out there door knocking on your phone or you bring a piece of paper, you're taking notes, you're getting contact information so you can follow up. Yeah? The third step, set an agenda and hold a meeting with everyone. Many people, some people, they'll call it an assembly, but you know, it's a meeting. You get a meeting, you set an agenda of what issues you see, what issues y'all came up with as an organizing committee, what your vision is, what you want to win, because there's a lot of possibilities. And what is possible, yeah? Why form the tenants union? Well, the number one reason is you will win. You heard me just talk about how we have Labor Day today because workers fought, spilled blood, died for this day. They won. And you can win too. Yeah? When working class folks band together, we win every time. 3,000 years ago, in Egypt, the stonecutters had their first strike. The first strike in recorded history. And since then, the working class has fought and won time and again. Better conditions to live in, more money, more rights, vacation, what have you. And we win every single time. Another thing is to overcome the fear and isolation, to transform your community and live with dignity and solidarity. Every person in this world deserves decency. They deserve, I don't care where you're from, you're in the United States, you deserve decency. You're in Ukraine, you deserve decency. You're in Sudan, you deserve decency. You're in Palestine, you deserve decency. Every person on this earth deserves decency. You get to build face-to-face relationships with your neighbors. Some of the things you can win. You can win rent control. The state of Alabama, they have this thing called home rule, yeah, which disallows cities and counties to set caps on rent. It's only controlled at the state level. And guess what? There ain't no rent cap at the state level. Yeah? This would be one great reason for us to have a statewide tenants union. Yeah? You can get building ownership. You're in one of these project-based housing that is backed by a Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac mortgage. These buildings can be bought by the people that live there. You can fight rent increases. You can fight evictions, displacement. You can protect yourself, protect others, and exercise your rights, because you do have rights as a tenant. So, I had a little bit bigger class earlier. So, what's step number 4? Let me hear you say step number 4 for me.
You have rights and your power is in solidarity in numbers. It is illegal for them to retaliate against you.
That's right. You have rights. It is illegal for landlords to retaliate against you. This, amazingly, is codified in Alabama law. Yeah? They're not allowed, you're trying to form this organization, they can't tell you that you can't meet in the community room, or that you can't have this organizing committee. They can't run for office on the organizing committee. There's things that are laid out, and I got this document that you sign your name up and put your email down. I'll send it to you. It's got more information in it. But yeah. So, tell me, who here is a renter? A renter? You own your spot? Congratulations, you deserve it. Hey, I know I said I'm with the Democratic Socialists of America. Some people think that socialism doesn't mean that you can't own a house. That's bull. You can't own a house. We want you to own a house. Yeah. But if you're a tenant, you know, we want you to live decently. Like in Alabama, the state or city inspectors, for instance, they're not certified to identify black mold, right? So you got black mold in your apartment. You call the city comes out, they're like, well, it's black, but I can't say it's black mold because I don't got the certificate for it. Well, the landlord then goes, oh, the city said it wasn't black mold. That means you have to come out of pocket to get an inspector out there to certify that it's black mold. This is just one of the ways that, one of the things that can be fought for, as an example. So, does anybody have any questions at this point? No questions? All right. I see I ran that other table off. All right. I did see somebody nodding their head
I
there.
had a question, but it got answered.
All right. So with that, like, so now you got your organizing committee. What does a timeline look like to make things happen for you? To make things happen for yourself, for your neighbors, for your city, for your neighborhood, for your state. What does that look like? Well, we'll give you a little example timeline. So week 1, you're doing research. You're asking questions. Yeah. What issues do residents in the building experience? What's the relevant affordability programs affecting the building, such as the National Housing Trust Fund, HOME, or the Low Income Housing Tax Credit? Does the building have a subsidized mortgage like Freddie Mae, Fannie Mac that I was talking about? Is there a federal assistance program in place? Are there state or local assistance programs supporting the building or its tenants? Who governs and regulates these programs? Are there protections in place for the tenants as a result of these programs? Who are the elected officials representing the area where the building is located? What are other issues community members face? Because that's something like, you know, we got an election coming up in Huntsville. A couple districts are up next year. Maybe some of these tenants need to get together and talk about what can be done. Maybe getting inspectors licensed on black mold. What can be done? Like I told you, can't do rent control, but is there something that the city can do to improve your living conditions? And if they don't, now you got this whole crew of people in, let's say, District 2. You got this whole crew of people together now, and an election's coming up. Maybe one of them runs for office. Maybe one of them runs for that city council chair. Yeah? Who knows? That's possible. Now you got a team of door knockers, folks that have trained themselves on how to go up and interact with folks in their neighborhood, folks in their district. And now you can get one of your tenants, one of your buddies, one of your fellow workers into office. So yeah, so week 1, week 2, door knocking. Make sure you have everything you need to door knock effectively. Clipboard or electric tablet includes a sign-up sheet for contact information, a place for notes about the conversation. Bring copies of regulations, federal or local, ensuring that people, you can hand something out so they know their rights. There's, in this document I have that I'm going to email out to y'all, it's actually got a handbook on tenants' rights. And in 2011, they actually codified like landlord responsibilities and tenants' rights at the state level. There's also federal protections at the Housing and Urban Development Office has as well. So you have a right to organize. So you're gonna bring, maybe you got business cards, you got them in that first week real fast. You're gonna knock on doors. This is the most effective way to find out about the issues facing tenants and how likely they are to organize. Talking to them face to face. It's usually most effective to door knock. What time do you think is the best time to door knock?
After work hours?
After work, that's right. But see, you're natural at this. You're a natural. We need you out in the street organizing folks.
Weekends will probably be the best.
So you're gonna knock on the doors in the evening, folks are home from work. You're gonna use door knocking to identify problems, but also other leaders. Yeah? Some folks, hey, they might be like having the bag for you. Like, I support this, but I'm real busy. You might get some people like, they step out of their apartment, they're ready to sign up, they're excited. Like, identify those people so you can, but with this, in the Army, everybody's a leader. That's the way we look at it. And in my organizing, that's the way I feel too. Everybody's a leader, yeah? So you got some that'll be more vocal or whatever, but remember that everybody can be a leader. It is a skill that everybody can learn. Y'all are leaders by being here today. Y'all are leaders. So, find out who the long-term tenants are, who's enthusiastic. So don't predetermine leaders. Let the leaders emerge. And remember, door knocking is about listening, like we said earlier, observing, and building trust. Because organizing moves at the speed of trust. When you first show up, they ain't gonna know you. It might be a little awkward or whatever. First few times, you kind of got a script of what you're gonna say, but you ain't all polished and stuff. Like, you'll get better, okay? So get over yourself. Don't be afraid. You'll be all right. You ain't gonna hurt nothing. As a matter of fact, not getting out in the streets, not organizing hurts yourself and your community. So weeks 3 and 4 is where we're gonna do planning and meetings. You're gonna get the group started after door knocking. You'll get a small group of tenants who are the most enthusiastic about addressing the problems. You're gonna organize 1 or 2 smaller meetings likely taking place at one of y'all's apartments. But there's other places to use in the city, the library, the churches, etc. So you're gonna find the underlying common issues. Who seems to be a decision maker? Yeah? How should things change? When we say decision makers, we're talking about identifying not the decision maker in the group, but city council or the housing authority or the landlord, what have you. Determine a goal for the building that has consensus among folks. Pick a date then for a building-wide or neighborhood-wide or city-wide or statewide meeting. Develop an agenda for that meeting. Give out roles and tasks for folks. Yeah. And be like, y'all, can you 2, 3, can y'all do snacks? Let's get the hat together, put $5 in everybody for snacks. Hey, can you be the secretary to take notes? Can you be the stack keeper? Stack is just like who's in line to talk. Yeah. Raise your hand. Hey, we got somebody trying to talk. Or the facilitators. That's the person who keeps the meeting flowing, stays on the agenda. The timekeeper. These are roles you use during the meeting, right? So, who is going to create, copy, and distribute the meeting notices? Who's going to facilitate? Who's going to take notes? Will you need some interpretation. Yeah? Not everybody in the United States speaks English. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We just figure it out. Hey, they Spanish speaking. Hey, anybody know anybody who's a good translator who speaks Spanish and English really good? Boom. We ask them to come in. Or, you know, they need sign language. Hey, we had one today. Did we not? Yeah, we had somebody giving sign ASL today. Like, there's folks out there that have these skills that want to help. So, what community resources are available? Make sure everyone who wants a responsibility has one. Remember, the role of the organizer is not to lead or even talk much. Is to provide the resources that the tenants need to meet their goals and to facilitate this small group's leadership. Consider a resident survey, yeah? Organizers should consider developing and conducting a residents' needs survey, satisfaction about the building maintenance, security, responsiveness, etc. Organizers can also conduct in-person interviews, or you create like a Google form and distribute it by QR code. Boom. You got all your data saved up in a nice little place. Hand jam the rest of it. So, week 5, you've done all this. You're about a month in. This is when you do your first community building, wide meeting, what have you. Once a date's determined, choose a location that's physically accessible to everybody. Maybe a common room. If the building doesn't have a meeting place, like I said, find something in the community or the neighborhood, public libraries, community centers, churches. They'll be happy to help you. Create and distribute flyers detailing the logistics of the meeting. That's the agenda and who's doing what. Make sure that everyone is aware of the meeting. Not every tenant will come, but everybody should have the opportunity to attend if they choose. Consider making it multilingual, your signs and signage and your flyers and stuff. It's important to consider the interpreter needs in terms of flyers and translation. A great way to accomplish this is reaching out to bilingual and hearing impaired residents. Finalize the agenda. Make sure that everyone who will speak know their roles. Keep the agenda very tight. Address why you're meeting. Build consensus around your goals. Determine the date for your next meeting and next steps and action items that need to happen. Make sure that every action item has a person or persons assigned to it. Yeah, and you want to try to keep these meetings to about an hour. Like, I've been in multi-hour long meetings. Sometimes it works, sometimes people got the energy for it, but really, you take the agenda, you break out 10 minutes for this subject, 5 minutes for this, yada yada. So week 6, you develop an action plan. Once you've determined the goals as a group and have developed immediate next steps, begin the process of creating an action plan. Dwight D. Eisenhower said that plans are meaningless, but planning is everything. Which I take to say is that, you know, you get out there, you got this plan, but you're gonna get punched in the teeth. So that plan, you gotta throw it out. But the planning you did previous, you should have that primary plan, that secondary plan, that contingency plan, that emergency plan. Yeah. For instance, if you're writing a letter to the landlord asking them to meet with your group, what are your next steps if they say yes? What are your steps if they say no? If your city has a tenant advocate or public advocate within the local government, at what point will you talk to them? At what point will you engage your elected officials or appointed or public officials? At what point will you go to the media? How might a combination of local media and public officials place pressure on your landlord if your group considers it necessary? Your action plan will develop and change over the course of your campaign as events unfold. But it's useful to plot out your steps and expectations as a group in advance. To be like water. You gotta be responsive, be mobile, be able to maneuver on the battlefield. So, week 7 through 10, this is where you can formalize the group you're in. Elections and bylaws. After you got the action plan, you take initial steps for your campaign. You start formalizing leadership and decision-making processes. Determine the group's leadership and bylaws. And this can be as formal or as informal as you want. Like, it's not necessary to have a 501c3 or a 501c4 or what have you. And your bylaws can be as simple as they need to be or as complex as they need to be. Tenants should consider different options, determine what makes sense. Do they want a president? Co-chairs? Is it non-hierarchical? Does the committee structure make most sense? Tenants must determine the basic functions that need to be fulfilled within their group and then craft a leadership structure that meets those needs. The organization's bylaws or community agreements should answer those questions and provide processes for your organization's operation. If you don't get it right the first time, you amend them, you change it, yeah? Determine the decision-making process. This process that all active members of the group are comfortable with and one that is formalized and right. Without basic rules and regulations, a group can fracture and a fractured group loses power. So, I want to ask again, any more questions? You got any questions? You have one to come back? Okay. Tell you what, the rain didn't come out on us today. It's just been perfectly cool. It's been a blessing. Couldn't really ask for a better Labor Day. Except Alabama winning this past weekend. All right. Hey, stop me at any time if you got a question. So now, here comes effectively is kind of the harder part, which is sustaining the group. Because when things first start, there's so much, almost magic. There's so much energy and drive. But the next part is harder. It's sustaining the fight. It's sustaining the group. Many tenant groups emerge in moments of crisis. After the immediate problem that brought a group together is addressed, the group may lose momentum, stop meeting, and begin to dissolve. Here's some tips to stay engaged and set realistic expectations. It's important to keep members engaged, but it's just as important to understand that the level of activity within a tenant group can vary depending on the urgency of needs. During an active campaign, a group may meet every week. Once the issue is resolved, the group may decide to scale back to once a month. Scaling back is okay. Although you want to keep the group going, you don't want people to burn out. Yeah? There's resistance in rest. So whether you meet once a week, once a month, or even once a quarter, holding regular meetings is a good way to build and maintain rapport with your fellow tenant and neighbor. And hey, have socials too. Be like, hey, this month the meeting is a barbecue meeting or a potluck meeting. Yeah? Enjoy life. Yeah? Keep in mind that these meetings should be held in a safe and public space for all members. Look to the community for tenant associations. It is usually a problem in the building that brings tenants together. However, there may be broader issues in the community around which a tenant group can organize or stay organized once initial problems are resolved, such as conditions of the local school system, or public transportation. Give members of the tenant association space to raise issues of greater concern. If common issues arise, brainstorm ways the tenant association can address those issues and influence the community. Look beyond the community. Does the tenant group have concerns about a way a federal or local program is regulated and run, or that there's no rent control in the state of Alabama? Sounds like we need a statewide tenant union, don't it? Finding ways to maintain a strong tenant group is important. Although the group may win one fight, another crisis will arise. And having a strong and unified body in place means you are ready to respond quickly and effectively. Consistently engage new members is important for groups to grow. You can engage new members through a variety of methods that we've already mentioned. Door knocking, social media. If you're a large organization that is statewide, you might consider attending or putting on events to engage people across the state. It's important to maintain a sign-on form of some sort to keep track of new members. You maintain your shared values and goals. As the tenant group continues to grow, keep track of the shared issues and grievances among the group to help inform the group values and goals over time. These goals will then help inform the group's actions. To help guide your shared values, goals, and regulations, you can delegate shared leadership roles in your tenant group. Organize with your team. If you are organizing a building, you will want at least 7 other team members to help organize people in your building. If you're working statewide or nationally, it's important to get involved with other tenant groups and other advocacy groups to help spread the message. And there's the tough Tenant Union Federation that's recently stood up. It's got unions in like Kansas City, LA, up in the Northeast. There's ATUN, also in North America. It's for Canada and North America. So there's these larger federation groups that can give advice, support, etc. But it starts with y'all. We got any other questions before we wrap up? Okay, well, thank y'all for being here today. This is how we start to make change, This is the snowball, Because now we got a list of folks from these 2 classes today that I'm going to talk to, and I'm going to try to bring together help. Because if you don't have a problem right now as a tenant, you will have a problem at some point. And you have rights that you may be being violated as we speak. So with that, thank you. Appreciate y'all for listening. Solidarity forever.
So if you can hear me, come on back to the green. We are going to have one more speaker tonight, and then we are going to close out in maybe something you all are familiar with, but in group singing. So if you got yourself a schedule earlier today, on the right-hand side, you'll see that there are the lyrics for a beautiful song called Solidarity Forever. So in just a couple minutes, we're going to have our last speaker come on up, and then we will be joining in chorus in that song. So I ask my organizers, my volunteers, my attendees, and anyone who wants to join us, come on over and let's fill this little green space right here in front of the stage, and we'll be closing ceremony here in about 5 minutes. We have Mr. Adam Keller, who's with the North Alabama Area Labor Council. I just want to give a huge shout out to him. I think this is like his 5th labor event in 3 days. Yeah. All right, so let's give a huge shout out to Adam. He is a huge proponent of labor in North Alabama and all the way down into Central Alabama and everywhere. So let's give Adam a huge shout out. Woo!
Well, good evening, y'all. Thank you for being here. Thank you to the organizers who put this together. Really appreciate it. My name is Adam Keller, and I'm proud to be a union man. For many, Labor Day is a time of, family and food and football, last taste of summer, and if we're lucky, a 3-day weekend. But for labor unionists, it's a chance to share our story, and it's a chance to reflect on why we have this holiday. Thanks to the achievements, the courage, the sacrifices, and the struggles of working people and our unions who came before us. The 8-hour day, child labor laws, workplace safety, all that and more. These labor rights were not simply given to us. They were not easily handed out. Like civil rights, women's rights, all of our human rights. It took everyday people organizing to make these rights. I've been involved in the labor movement for over a dozen years now. I've won some fights, lost plenty more. Like too many workers, I've experienced retaliation. And I know what it feels like to get fired for what you believe in. I know what it feels like to be blacklisted from an industry you love. But I have seen our power, and I've seen our potential, which has affirmed my faith that when everyday working people, when the diverse working class majority, when we come together and unite around our common interest, we can do amazing things. And so I'm proud to serve as a trustee for the North Alabama Area Labor Council. We are the Regional Federation of Local Labor Unions, a union of unions, you might say. In our case, 12 affiliates representing thousands of workers, from cashiers and construction workers to rocket scientists and engineers. I represent my local, IATSE 900, which is a local of the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. That's right, give it up for IATSE. We do all the behind-the-scenes work at Von Braun Center and Orion. Nationally, a lot of our members work in Hollywood or Broadway. And if you watch the end credits of most movies, you'll even see our union bug, our logo. In my full-time job, I work for Alabama Arise, a statewide nonprofit coalition of over 150 member groups, over 1,600 individual members, united in advancing better policy for the people, especially those marginalized by poverty. I was hired a couple years ago, and pretty quickly coworkers were bending my ear. They said they'd been thinking about a union for some time, and they were like, "Adam, you're the most union-obsessed guy we've ever met, so can you help?" So I said, "Great, we're the organizing committee now." And within a couple months, we signed our union cards with CWA, Communication Workers of America. So my role at Alabama Arise is Worker Power Campaign Director, which you could probably guess by now is right up my alley. And what we're doing in that campaign is trying to build bridges between the policy advocacy, our membership base in the community, and the broader labor movement, so that we can support and empower working people who are organizing for better lives and better futures. Now, on the side of all that, I co-host and co-produce the Valley Labor Report. Well, thank you. We are the South's largest labor talk show. We're on the air, on the radio, and online, and we try to spread a message of collective action, diverse people power, and working class solidarity. So I wear a lot of hats in the movement, and I'm at a pretty unique intersection of labor, community, faith, media, nonprofits, and more. And I see all this work is connected to the bigger project and the bigger prize of a better Alabama for all. Because I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of Alabama ranking at the top of everything bad and at the bottom of everything good. You know, our state's leaders love to talk about how great we are for business, but we don't talk enough about the conditions of the workers who face some of the worst conditions in the developed world. Alabama could be better. It must be better. A better Alabama and a better world is possible, but only if we come together and fight for it. And so this Labor Day this year is a little bittersweet because our movement is in a fight for its life. We're going backwards. All those hard-fought rights, they're at risk. We're losing ground. The forces of greed and bigotry grow stronger day by day. It's threatening our families, our freedoms, and our security. As the working class, it's our labor that spins the wheels of this society, that drives this economy. We have to realize and grow our power as working people. If we're going to address the multiple layers of crisis that are bearing down upon us, we need massive people power. And unions are perhaps the best and most important tool we have to build that kind of people power, the kind of people power we need to win the kind of future we deserve. It's going to take all of us doing what we can. And so I want to thank all of you again for being here. It's going to take all of us doing what we can. If not us, then who? If not now, then when? It's up to us to strengthen our spirits, build collective power, and grow a mass movement rooted in love, justice, and solidarity, the kind of mass movement we haven't seen in generations, the kind of mass movement that has always been key to progress in this country, the kind of mass movement that can win a future we can truly believe in. So thank you again for this opportunity. Solidarity forever, y'all.
Thank you, Adam. Are you gonna stick around and sing with us? All right. So I hope everybody here has a schedule in your hand. So this is a beautiful song. It's got many renditions it's called Solidarity Forever. So you really think on how that came about and the movement that brought about this movement song. So we have, I guess anybody who wants to come to the mic can go ahead and sing. I will not be holding it. I don't even know the tune. I only can follow along. So I'm going to hand it off to Jacob Jones and Bree Crary and Amy Price to lead us in chorus. All right?
All right. Normally I only do this in the shower, so. All right.
So you gotta hold it between everybody.
No, you just start.
Okay, I will start. All right.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. When the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? But the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. It is we who plowed the prairies, built the cities where they trade, dug the mines and built the workshops, endless miles of railroad laid. Now we stand outcast and starving midst the wonders we have made, but the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. They have taken untold millions that they never toiled to earn, but without our brain and muscle not a single wheel can turn. We can break their haughty power, gain our freedom when we learn that the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. In our hands is placed a power greater than their hoarded gold, greater than the might of armies magnified 1,000-fold. We can bring to birth a new world from the ashes of the old, for the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever, solidarity forever, solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong.
Woo! Solidarity, y'all. All right, let's give it one more. Solidarity without the mic. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. All right, folks. And with that, we will be closing out Huntsville Labor Day Union Expo 2025. All right. If you have any questions, if you have any needs, please reach out to the organizations. We have Democratic Socialists of North Alabama Democratic Socialists, North Alabama Area Labor Council, and Alabama 5051. I want to thank you all, because you're all mostly the volunteers here, for working this event, and I love you guys. Solidarity forever.